With Persona 5 The Royal coming out here in a few days, I thought I might give you some tips and tricks for the game. Now, essentially, Persona 5 The Royal is pretty similar to Persona 5. For the most part, a lot of those tips will still apply to The Royal, but there has been some new things added to the game, and I'm going to talk about it. Alright, first off, in palaces, there's these things called will seeds, and trust me, they're very much worth it, and you're going to want to get them. Now, when you find a will seed in a palace, will seeds are a new collectible found in secret parts of every single palace. The will seeds will provide you with a powerful accessory for your team, obviously, but not only that, they also restore SP for your entire team for free while in the metaverse. So you better be getting those will seeds. Absolutely, because if you are not getting those will seeds while you're in the palace and your SP runs out, dude, you are totally screwed. I mean, before you even go in a palace, you should try your best to have SP items. You can also get SP items from vending machines, but they only spawn like once a week, so you better get on it. Like, go over to the bathhouse and get some SP items. And if you run out of SP in a dungeon, obviously you're gonna have an extremely tough time. You can't heal your team unless you have healing items, and you can't use persona abilities like magic, so you'll be totally screwed. Trust me, SP is one of the biggest and most important things in Persona, so you're going to want a shit ton of it. And of course, there is 3 will seeds per palace, so you better be taking full advantage of them. And of course, with will seeds, you obviously should use all your SP first before getting the will seed, so you can farm and level up. Extremely important. And of course, with Persona 5 The Royal, just like Persona 5 and Persona 4 Golden, I would highly suggest having a day-by-day guide on what to do in the game. Whether that's talking to specific confidants, eating the burger challenge in Persona 5, which gives you tons of different social stats, are playing video games, are watching movies. It's extremely important to know what to do and when to do it in Persona 5 and how to use your time properly. Social stats in Persona 5 and Persona 5 The Royal are extremely important. If you don't have your social stats up, you cannot hang out with certain confidants at certain ranks, which is extremely crucial. To increase your social stats, you could either increase it by hanging out with certain confidants that will also increase your social stats, reading books, giving nutrients to your plant, which is the first thing you should do in the game. You need to buy nutrients for your plant. Number 1. Obviously, going to the juice stand every Sunday to get a random stat increase, doing jobs sometimes increase stats, as well as giving money. But all these things, other than the plant, take up your time, and of course, other than the juice stand. Choose wisely on how you decide to manage your time in Persona 5 and Persona 5 The Royal. Believe me, everything matters. Also, video games, movies, and DVD rentals will also increase your stats as well, and crafting tools at the work desk in your room will also increase proficiency as well. Also, this time around, you do not have to rank up your confidants in Persona 5 The Royal, unlike Persona 5 for the baton pass ability. So now you don't have to rank up at all to get that ability. It's in Palace 1, and it's been improved as well. There are 3 stages to the baton pass now: rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. And the most important, obviously, is rank 3, where your SP and HP items for personas don't cost anything at all, including for the Showtime SP moves, which is freaking huge because supposedly some of those moves will cost 80 to 90 SP, which is a lot of SP in Persona, obviously, which is a huge improvement to the game. And it's also important to know which confidants in the games are the best confidants. And starting off with, speaking of confidants, Tei Takamaki, which is the punk rock doctor. You know, she has the medicine shop. You need to be friends with her. She's the Death Arcane. Yeah, extremely important in the game, because if you get her tiered up to like rank 7, she gives you SP adhesive items that you can buy, which pretty much means you're gonna be regenerating SP like crazy, and you need to take full advantage of that, because with SP you can also heal your party. Very, very important. The best accessory in the game, period. So I would be focusing on her like crazy. And speaking of confidants, you should try your best to have a persona that matches the arcane of the confidant that you're talking to. Because if you have the correct persona, say for instance you're talking to Tei Takamaki and she's the death arcane and you have a death persona, you're actually more likely to be able to level her up, because that persona matches that confidant, their arcane, and it will give you more points overall. It could be the difference between just hanging out and ranking up, which is freaking massive. Because in Persona 5 and Persona 5 The Royal, there's day and there's evening. And if you hang out with a confidant, it takes up a time slot. You watch a movie, it takes up a time slot. You get the picture. So you pretty much need to make sure you're doing the best with your time, period. Also, another important confidant later in the game, her name is Chihaya. She's a fortune teller. Some of her ranks as a confidant, she'll give you buffs that can help you with all kinds of things like grinding money in the metaverse. So if you're running low on cash, you definitely want to have her, alright? And also, she can help you grind relationship points for you without making time progress. Freaking important as hell. Of course, this won't level up a confidant, but it will save you from spending in-game time with them for no immediate benefit. So essentially, having her gives you more relationship points instead of spending a daytime time slot or an evening time slot. So yeah, you're gonna definitely want her, alright? Mainly the characters that are the best confidants in the game are essentially characters that are not your teammates, like the politician, the teacher. Yeah, you're gonna want to hang out with them because they give you some of the best abilities, period. Like the ability to slack off in class, which will give you a free time slot to essentially read a book, which can get your stats up, or do whatever. Of course, I would not sleep in class. You're wasting your time at that point in this game. And if you leave a palace, you can get an ability to not waste 2 time slots, but in fact only waste 1 time slot, which is huge in Persona. I'm just saying, do your research with your confidants and your guide. It will help you out tremendously. I mean, look up YouTube videos, whatever helps you out. If I'm not mentioning something here in the video, go for it. And like I said before, one of the confidants, she helps you save time in the game, and that's Kakamaki. Yeah, you definitely want her because she can also make you coffee and curry for you, as well as do laundry for you, skip class, and allow you, whenever you leave the metaverse, to only do 1 time slot instead of 2 time slots. Freaking huge, bro. Freaking huge. So yeah, you definitely want her on your side and higher up in the ranks. Now this point here is for earlier on in the game. Brewing coffee makes Sorjin like you. And not only will he like you and your relationship go up with him, also you get coffee, which are SP items, which you totally need in the dungeons. So if you're trying to get Sorjin's confidant up, and you're also wanting SP items, this could be an excellent option. Of course, with Sojiro, when you hang out with them, your kindness stat goes up as well. And with Persona 5 The Royal and Persona 5 in general, in this game, if your social stats are not high enough, you cannot hang out with certain confidants after certain ranks. You're going to want to pay attention to where your social stats are lying at, especially if the character's like, hey, you can't hang out with me until your kindness stat is up. So at that point, you're going to want to focus at your kindness stat, which means you're going to want to read or hang out with confidants that may increase those stats, like Sojiro. Extremely important. And if you can mix confidants and social stats together, like increasing them both in a single hangout, that is freaking phenomenal and amazing. And you need to do that. Also, with confidants, Get gifts if you're having a tough time leveling them up, and get a list of gifts that go with particular confidants, so you're not just randomly handing out gifts and not getting any relationship stats whatsoever. And at that point, you're wasting time and you're wasting money, which is not good at all. And of course, money matters in Persona 5 The Royal, just as money matters in Persona 5, which allows you to upgrade your gear, buy HP items, buy accessories, and also pull out personas out of the registry, which cost money, unfortunately. So you can match the persona with the confidant that you want to hang out with to get the most out of it. Another thing to do early on in the game, in September of Persona 5 Royal, like the September month, you need to fix the laptop. And later in the game, when you unlock Akihabara, you can also buy the PC repair parts, which you combine them together and boom. And of course, if you're a long-time Persona fan, you will get a kick out of this as well for what the laptop shows you. And it also provides an extremely useful service as well. And just like Persona 5 The Royal, you can check your confidant's progress from the overworld map. Simply press R1, obviously, and then you can go over each location, and it's going to tell you what confidants are going to level up, which confidants that you're maxed out, and which confidants that you're just hanging out with, and which confidants that you can't hang out with because you don't have social stats up high enough. Extremely important. Like literally every single day, you need to be pressing R1. You need to be looking at which confidants are going to level up and which ones are not. Because who wants to walk around the entire Tokyo map around Shibuya and trying to figure out who can level up? Is my relationship going to become closer or not? Are we just hanging out? Extremely important. One of the most important things of the game, in my opinion. Persona 5 and Persona 5 The Royal is a social simulator and also a battle simulator. It's half and half. And believe me, social is freaking huge, because when you level up your confidants, it gives you abilities in battle to use, which is extremely important. Also, check the fridge in Café LeBlanc, the one behind the bar where Sojiro is hanging out. This is where you can make SP restoring curry or have Kokamaki do it for you on certain days. That's assuming there's enough ingredients left over to do so. Even when you don't want to make curry though, you should check the fridge. On some days it's completely empty, just like Persona 4 Golden. On others, you can make the life-affirming spicy stuff. Every once in a blue moon, you'll instead find a present in there from Sojiro himself. It's always free, so you might as well take it. That's something I didn't even know in Persona 5 whenever I was playing. I mean, I would mess around with the fridge once in a while, but I didn't really do it all the time. I mean, that's a freaking huge benefit for you, and it's free. Now let's talk about the combat of Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5. After each battle in Persona 5 The Royal, your allies will revive after each battle with 1 HP, of course. But hey, they're back and you can heal them. You don't have to throw revival beads at them or whatever, or revival items at them. They're back. It's freaking awesome. Take full advantage of it. So say for instance you're getting close to the end of the battle and a few of them are down. Don't worry about them. Finish the battle off. Then heal them later and save those revival items for bosses, obviously. And of course, with Persona 5 The Royal, if the main character dies, game over. And also, unlike Persona 5 The Royal, after each battle, if you use all your gunshots, the guns automatically reload after each battle. Extremely useful, and it makes the guns way more useful this time around. Now, a big mechanic of palaces is obviously cover, which means you're totally invisible. Now, this applies to Persona 5 and Persona 5 The Royal. Get into cover, you can skip to the next cover. Even if you go through the enemy, it doesn't matter. You're totally invisible for some apparent reason, and you need to take full advantage of this. You obviously need to get ambushes. You do not want the enemy to see you, because if they see you, they're going to attack you, and then they ambush your ass. And that's not good. And then also, the palace's rulers' stats go up. his awareness of you. And if it goes to 100% awareness of your ass, you're out. You're out of the palace. You wasted time slots for the day. Unless, of course, you reload the game like a smart person. I would hope you would do that. Now, another thing with saving the game in Persona 5, all the save rooms have quick travel. You know, press R1, scroll down the list of previous areas that you've been, aka the entrance of the palace, so you can fuse personas in the Velvet Room. Extremely important. Also, just like Dark Souls, you cannot save spam and win. If you defeat enemies and you go into the save room and you decide, okay, I defeated the enemies, I'm gonna save the game. Oh, that's cool. Well, you come back out of the save room and bam, they all respawn. So your best bet is save the game, engage the enemies, keep on going, get to the next save spot and save, obviously. And of course, this time around, Mementos is a little bit bigger and a lot more enemies and a lot more secrets. And of course, this time around, Mementos in Persona 5 The Royal is a little bit bigger. And get this, you have a new shop. You can buy stuff in Mementos. Jose. That's right. When you defeat enemies, you acquire flowers, which you can use to buy out of Jose's stock. And of course, once you acquire enough flowers, you'll buy everything out of Jose's stock in a day, and then he's completely out. But with Mementos, if you go out of a floor and in a floor, enemies keep respawning like crazy, and you can keep getting money until you run out of HP and SP. And then at that point, you just need to press square and get the heck out of there and fast travel to victory. You just need to fast travel out of Mementos and get to victory. Obviously, once you run out of HP and SP. If you're looking for the secret areas in Mementos, look for walls without gunk. Obviously, the gunked up walls will always be real though, so don't hit those walls. Also in Persona 5 The Royal, just like Persona 5, you can fuse personas to make more powerful personas, and obviously in combat, you need to have all the different types of magic abilities that you can hit the enemy with, so you can test out all the enemies' weaknesses till you get their weaknesses. Now, of course, certain enemies do not have weaknesses, and at that point, you probably should stick to physical damage, lowering their defense and whooping their ass. Or hit them with almighty damage, or get an ability where you can put them into fear and then finish them off. That's always a good choice. Just like Persona 5 The Royal, during Persona fusions, the higher your confidant ranks are with your friends or different confidants that you have gained relationships with, the more leveling up the personas will do when you fuse them. And it will show you, of course, how many ranks that it will go up. So you need to take that into consideration when you're making personas. Well guys, I'm a massive fan of Persona 5 The Royal, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that we're gonna get Persona 5 The Royal and Scramble on the Nintendo Switch, and obviously getting Scramble out of Japan, which would be freaking huge. I freaking love Persona. Next video, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna talk about what's new in Persona 5 The Royal. Whether you're a returning fan or whether you're completely new to the game, it's gonna be an amazing experience. Well, hey, this has been Booming Success. If you like what you've seen here, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the notification bell. And maybe check out some of my other videos. Hey, I did an entire video about tips and tricks and reviews on Persona 5. It's literally 30 minutes, and you're gonna freaking love it. You're obviously gonna need more tips than this. And especially if you like Persona, you're definitely gonna want to check out the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.